Greetings, Indie Warriors, and welcome to I Dream of Indie. My name's OldGamer Joe, bringing you some quick gameplay impressions of Ignited Steel Mech Tactics on Steam. As fans of the channel have likely heard at this point, I've fallen back in love a little bit with the tactics genre over the past year or so, and it's really wonderful to see so many different indie developers not only keeping the genre alive and well, but trying interesting and unique concepts within that genre. Ignited Steel has some really cool ideas, along with a sleek visual style, and yes, of course, some rogue elements. Alright, so I am a little burnt out on some of these rogue elements, but that said, it didn't stop me from having a great time with about the hour or so that I spent playing. As you might have guessed, this game is turn-based and grid-based with a set amount of action points for you to use, and use carefully. The cool part about that is, depending on where you are on the map or how close you are to an enemy, you can shoot them more than once. That can actually result in blowing yourself up too, as I found out the hard way a few times. What makes Ignited Steel a little bit unique from other tactics games that I've played is the overheat system that's implemented here. You do have to keep your eyes on your heat meter, because if you go over a certain amount, you're going to overheat your mech. This will actually make you more powerful, but you'll also be susceptible to more damage. Then you'll need to decide if you want to use those precious action points in order to cool yourself off, which you may need to because, well, you can easily die if you don't. Outside of your standard weaponry, you also have some support equipment early on during the tutorial of this game, which is really well done. You'll have a skill that you can try out where you can actually propel over hills or other obstacles that are in your way in order to avoid having to go the long way around and to kind of make a shortcut, or maybe that'll be your only path. It all works together to create a tactics experience that feels both familiar and new at the same time. I really enjoyed these systems. Eventually, you're going to get to an overworld map of sorts, which the game refers to as the star map. Here you can mess around with your equipment. You're going to unlock a lot of new equipment as you advance forward in this game, and this is also where you'll choose your next destination. It almost reminds me of the map in Star Fox way back in the day, but a little bit more robust than that. In the hangar, you can choose which primary weapon you want to equip, which support equipment you want to equip, and which mech core you're going to use. You'll also unlock various pilots. I unlocked 4 in my time with this game, and that was just about an hour like I mentioned, and they all have their own unique attributes as well. Here's where the rogue elements come in. This game is very run-based and very difficult. You're expected to die a lot, and you're expected to slowly unlock more and more to get stronger and to progress forward. It's extremely hard to level up. It's extremely hard to be successful. There is a good amount of variety between the different tasks that you're given. Not a ton, but a decent amount here. For example, you might be given a task to take out all of the enemies on a map, or you might have to defend a certain area, or you might have to get to a certain extraction point. Regardless, this feels like a game that's going to be very grindy. So personally, this doesn't feel like a game for more casual tactics fans like myself. It's definitely a bit more on the difficult, advanced side of things. Not that it's hard to play or difficult to understand, just that it's very challenging and very, very grindy. The visuals in Ignited Steel are actually pretty neat. It almost reminds me of a 32-bit game, PSX, Saturn, something like that, but I really enjoyed the graphics of this title. I think the mechs are well detailed, some really neat models. I like the anime aesthetic that they use for the pilots. It's not overused here though. There's quite a few different maps that I saw even with my short time playing the game, from deserts to icy areas, more generic stuff that you might expect, but still kind of a neat, unique art style to this one, and I was totally digging it. As far as the soundtrack goes, it's kind of rocking. I was really also liking these tracks quite a bit. It's an upbeat mix of distorted guitars and some really oozing synths. I thought it worked quite effectively. Great harmonies and melodies going on throughout, with plenty of big explosions throughout the game. I was actually really impressed with the overall visual and audio design, especially given the fact that this is a small indie team. So even though I'm not the biggest Rogue fan these days, I walked away having a positive experience with Ignited Steel. I think there is an addicting gameplay loop for those of you that don't mind dying over and over again. I think the overheating mechanic does bring something a little bit unique to the table, and I love unlockables. There's plenty of those here, even though I don't like repeating areas over and over again all the time. If you love tactics games, you like those rogue elements in those tactic games, and you want to support a smaller indie developer, maybe give this one a look. It's available on Steam as of March 9th of 2022. Thank you so much for watching the latest video from I Dream of Indie. We would now like to pay tribute to those great indie warriors and legends that support our channel. At the Indie Warriors tier, we have Bill T, Christian Cruz, Kevalo, Chris Jackson, Adriana Amato, CJR, Julian Kolbis, Jesse, CPM, Ray Lynn, Marky Mint, Dave Harp, Peekaboo, Lex Noyle, PSC, Carmine Red, King of the Hatch, and Blue Francis 14. Indie legends include Jen Rose, Larkison, Mitchell Hall, Eric Peach, Skepticism, C Coil, and Nathan Moore. Thank you all for all that you do for independent developers, publishers, and for I Dream of Indie. Everybody else, please head down to the description box below. Let's defeat the gaming echo chamber and bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming.